And the First Amendment's very clear that teachers do have constitutional rights to free speech. Teachers do have the right to speak up on their own time on matters of public concern. And no teacher, no parent, no citizen should be punished by the government for exercising that freedom.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So in some good news, for religious freedom, for common sense, for freedom of speech, we have a teacher in Ohio who has won a settlement of $450,000. This was a case that was ongoing from 2022. Vivian Geraghty brought the suit against the Jackson local school district in 2022 after she was told to resign from a middle school language arts position.
I told them that I would not because of my religious beliefs, and within 2 hours I was forced to pack up my belongings and escorted out of the school.
Vivian Geraghty is an Ohio teacher who claims in a lawsuit she was forced to resign when she would not accommodate two students who asked to be called by different names and pronouns. The school board voted to accept her resignation in September. We have blurred her appearance due to concerns for her safety.
I am a professing Christian. I go to church 4 times a week. It is the largest part of my identity, and I do believe that God only created 2 sexes.
The Alliance Defending Freedom filed the lawsuit on Geraghty's behalf against the Jackson Memorial Middle School principal, the Board of Education, and 2 district employees seeking reinstatement to her teaching job.
The case here raises a critical issue, and that's whether or not public schools can order teachers to set their religious beliefs aside as a condition of public service.
So Vivian was backed by the Alliance Defending Freedom, and they have had a couple of victories recently defending teachers. Logan Zeppiner, a legal counsel for the Alliance Defending Freedom, said the school tried to force Vivian to accept and repeat the school's viewpoint on issues that go to the foundation of morality and human identity, like what makes us male or female, by ordering her to personally participate in the social transition of her students. So she didn't go along with the ideology that the school has subscribed to, saying the First Amendment prohibits the abuse of power, and Jackson local school district officials have learned that that comes at a steep cost. That a settlement was reached last month after the US District Court for the Northern District of Ohio ruled in August that the school's pronoun policy was not neutral and that forcing Geraghty to use preferred pronouns was a form of compelled speech. They tried to get the teacher to go along with using the incorrect pronouns for her students in middle school. Why, I do not know. Science, as of now, does not support the idea that using the preferred pronouns is crucial for these kids' mental health. Quite the opposite, I would argue. Because all it is confusion, all it is affirming a lie. The sooner they accept who they are, the better. And teachers of all people shouldn't be complicit in lying to a child and getting the child to be someone that they're not. But children shouldn't even be open to these concepts. And if there is some form of gender dysphoria, they need support, they need treatment, they need love, they need care and guidance. If a child believed he was Spider-Man, that's not the end of the world. Children engage in different forms of play. They pretend to be princesses and, all sorts of things. But if the kid wanted to jump off a building and release his web so that he can fly from building to building, it would be the responsibility of the adults to say, no, you're not Spider-Man. That is dangerous. We wouldn't go, okay, we don't want to hurt your feelings, so go for it. So in 2022, it was 2 students who requested that she uses names that align with their new gender identities rather than their legal names. Another student had wanted to be called by different pronouns, and this student cited a school policy that required teachers to use students' preferred pronouns. So the school is giving the kids this message that they can change their pronouns willy-nilly. So she cited religious and constitutional rights, but they had a real issue with the religious angle of the whole thing. Apparently that hit a nerve to say that it goes against your religion, because, of course, their religion is more important.
She cited religious beliefs and didn't feel comfortable using them. Now, She lost her job. She says she was forced to resign. Now, she is not joining us right now. She's keeping a low profile. However, we are joined by her lawyer, Logan Spina, legal counsel at the Alliance Defending Freedom. Logan, welcome. And this is why she was fired, because she did not want to use the pronouns. That's the case?
Thanks for having me, and that's exactly what happened. She explained that she had a religious basis for being unable to communicate that a child has transitioned from one gender to another. And within 2 hours of officials finding out that it was a religious reason that kept her from being able to do this, they'd forced her to resign and escorted her from the property.
Let me ask you this. If she had not cited religion, if she just said, I don't feel comfortable doing that, or I don't want to do that, could she have kept her job?
Everything happened so fast that we don't know, but we think the best explanation is that the punishment that was meted out upon her was because of her religion. It doesn't make sense to fire a teacher to force a teacher to resign who's performed well for the past 2 years, no incidents, no complaints from anybody else. So we certainly believe and allege that this is based on her religion. And their behavior just says, we have no idea what they would have done in another case because they acted so unreasonably.
The school was trying to force her to do something that went against her conscience. In all good conscience, she couldn't go along with it, especially when it comes to children who are not born in the wrong body. Even J.K. Rowling said that she doesn't believe there is any such thing as a trans kid, that no kid is born in the wrong body. And schools can't compel teachers to use language that forces them to go along with what they consider to be a lie. That is going to come along with guilt. That is going to come along with them believing that they are compromising their faith. So it's not just belief, it is also fact. As of now, we have not seen one child that has been scientifically proven to have been born in the wrong body. Yes, gender dysphoria exists for many different reasons. It could even be because that child has been through some sort of trauma. That child may have been through some abuse. I'm not saying that's the case in every single case. But rather than getting to the root of the issue, rather than helping this child accept themselves for who they are, we have adults, people in authority, going along with the lie. And this teacher had every right to remind the school that she has constitutional rights, she has freedom of speech.
This is also weird. It's like, I've heard of the state saying, you can't say something, but here they're saying, you must say this. Controlling speech, not preventing you from speaking, but trying to control the way you speak. That seems absurd. What have they said to you so far? I know it happened quick. We're still in the early stages, but where do things stand right now?
They've said nothing to us. They did issue a letter to the community, and they pushed back on our claim that they have a policy relating to this at all. In some ways, I think that the statement helps our legal case because part of our complaint is alleging that teachers don't actually have any level of clarity about the obligations that they're actually subject to. So when the school board comes back and says, oh, we don't actually have a policy on this, I think that validates in part what Vivian is saying.
And some people might think, well, what's the big deal? But the question is, where would it stop? Would a nurse be forced to use the term chest feeding? Would a doctor, gynecologist, for example, be forced to use the term bottom hole or whatever nonsense? If we allow our speech to be controlled in this area, it won't stop. Before you know it, we're all using a language that nobody understands. So the Alliance for Freedom have been involved in another case involving a gym teacher who objected to changes in school policy relating to pronouns. And thankfully, that teacher has recently been reinstated. I believe the case is still ongoing, but the fact that he's been reinstated is a good sign.
So Cross was placed on leave, then banned from school property after he spoke out in opposition to a new state policy. It requires teachers to address students by their preferred gender pronouns, regardless of their birth sex. And he says this entire case has been really one giant distraction from his actual job, which is teaching kids. Listen.
We're so happy about the results that the judge made, and we just really looking forward to get me back in the classroom doing what I do best, and that's making kids healthier and having fun.
So, Bill, the ADF and some legal experts I've been speaking to this morning here in Washington tells us this case might go all the way to the Supreme Court and really compel the justices to reframe the way that 1A is used now in the 21st century to protect educators.
And the ADF is saying that they have heard from multiple teachers across the country. Logan Cepena again said, "There are a lot of teachers coming to us. Unfortunately, too many school districts around the country have adopted policies that compel teachers to personally affirm things that aren't true. That's a violation of their First Amendment rights. And we're thankfully been able to have some success in representing other teachers, and say that's leading other teachers to contact us." So that recent case was in Loudoun County, and the gym teacher's name is Tanner Cross. So thankfully he has been reinstated, and Vivian Geraghty has won a huge settlement. So it does look like the courts are on our side when it comes to these sort of things. And obviously the tide is turning. That's good news for teachers, it's good news for anybody who works with members of the public. The Alliance for Freedom are obviously doing some very important work that is saving our First Amendment rights, because it was touch and go there for a while. It really was. But thankfully, I do believe that this insanity is no longer going to infringe upon our First Amendment rights. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.